welcome to tonight's episode of Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel, and as always, I have a very special guest for you, Nicole Favours, who's the owner and founder of Natural Glory. She'll be with us for the next 30 minutes, so stay with us. You're watching Beyond Focus TV.
Beyond Focus TV allows you to discuss contemporary topics affecting the Caribbean people on both a national and local level. The show features informed guests who offer insight, debate, and evaluate various issues. Beyond Focus TV builds on the station's mission to provide useful information to the Caribbean people in New York and abroad. Beyond Focus TV, where our viewing audience can get educated, informed, and empowered.
Welcome back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel, and like I said, I have a very special guest for you, Nicole Favours, who's the owner and founder of Natural Glory, is here. Great to have you, Nicole.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Well, it's great to have strong female entrepreneurs. It is Women's Month.
Yes.
Okay, so we're kind of giving a special play to the ladies
Okay.
during the month of March, and especially when you're doing great things. You're the owner, you're the founder of Natural Glory, and that's what we'll talk about tonight. So kind of let's take it back a little bit. Let's talk about how this all got started for you.
Like a lot of people, I like body butter. I love anything that makes me feel decadent. And when I first came back to New York, I started going more into a natural phase. So I cut the perm out of my hair, and I started trying to learn how to take care of my hair with no relaxer in it. And not knowing anything about that, I'd been permed since I was a kid, so that was what was normal. And just doing research and finding out about different products and what butters do, and started to make my own things, just experimenting, and I liked the way it felt. And I liked the way it smelled, and I liked the way my skin felt afterwards, and the effects that it was having, not just on my body, but on my hair as well. And I started to realize the products that I could actually pronounce, that didn't have the 26-letter ingredients, actually worked better. It worked better for me. My hair reacted to a lot of the things that were on the market. It would do well for a while, and then just completely didn't want to use it anymore. And so I said, okay, I have to start making my own things and getting used to it. And that's how it all started. It started just for me. And friends of mine had asked to use it. You know, they would come over and make this up for me or mix this together.
Became a chemist overnight.
Yeah, you know, and not thinking anything of it, I would just do it. And I eventually was asked, you know, you need to go ahead and start this. You need to do this for yourself. And didn't think much of it, but I tried it, and people are responding, and I like that. Yes.
And you mentioned an interesting point. You said when you moved back to New York.
Yes.
So
I was
where were
living
you
in
before?
Philly. I was born and raised in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And I left in '93. And I was going to start my life over and move to Philadelphia, and it just didn't work out. Life brought me back. You know, I came back to care for my grandmom, and I just stayed. It was never my intention to stay in New York, but I realized I'm a New Yorker at heart, and this is where I'm going to be, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what made you do natural products, even though I know you said you wanted to really try to experiment on yourself?
Yeah.
But why the movement to all natural products?
Again, like I said, it started with my hair. My stylist for my hair had moved to Delaware. And so coming back from Pennsylvania, being here in New York, I was not about to take that trip to Delaware.
Ride.
Yeah, just to get my hair done. It was not that deep for me, you know, but I had to learn how to take care of it. You know, it's something different when you're a kid and you have a mom that's braiding your hair every day and they take care of it. And then when you get to the phase where you have to take care of it yourself, I was used to relaxing it. And I didn't want to do that anymore, you know. And I actually went to a salon, first natural salon I had ever gone to, and I loved the style that she did. But I loved it more when I picked it out when I got tired. I have a habit of playing in my hair when I'm sleepy, and she had done these really cute coils in my hair, and I loved it. But I loved it so much more while I was getting sleepy and just started picking the coils out of my hair.
Really?
And once I did that, it was like, wow, I like this. And it lasted for about 2 or 3 days. And then after that, it was like, this is looking kind of dry, and I don't know how to do it again. It's time to learn. You know, it's time to learn. Because it was expensive to have to go back and still trying to maintain, you know, everything that I was doing here and the work that was involved in doing my own hair. And I had no clue that it would take all of that. But I started to get into it and try different things.
And let's talk briefly about, because there's a lot of viewers at home who are probably going through the same thing, who want to go natural.
Yes.
You know, they've permed, they don't know the first step. So
Yes.
seeing how, let's talk about that, and even how Natural Glory could help you. I'm sure
Okay.
you have something for that. So what is the best advice? Because, spring is coming. People
Right.
are going to come out that winter phase
Yeah.
in just a little bit. What would you suggest for that?
I find a lot of people start with the big chop. And that's great, but it's not great for everyone. All the thing that I find is people tend to lean more towards, well, my hair is this grade, or I'm 4B, or I'm 4A. And that really doesn't mean anything if you stop and think about it. For myself, I have about 5 different textures in my hair. And so it's trial and error, finding those things that work just for you. One thing that I have found is when I'm dealing with natural products, there are some things that are just standard. Shea butter is going to do this. Cocoa butter is going to do this.
Yes, those are just facts.
Yeah, that's just what it's going to do. But now the question is, will it work on your hair type? Like one of the things that I found, I love coconut oil in my hair. But I also found that when it gets cold, my hair doesn't like the stiffness that happens when I use a product with coconut oil in it. My hair gets stiff when it's cold like it is today. If I had a product with coconut oil in it, my hair would harden. And it didn't like it. It started to get brittle. So I'm like, okay. So I realized even though my products I can use on my entire body, I can use it on my body and in my hair as well. I realized I couldn't do the body butter in my hair as much if I had coconut oil in it. So those are the type of things I started learning, and just for myself. It works great for somebody else,
Right.
And they were able to use the product and their hair loved the moisture and all of that, and it was great. Another product people tell me about a lot of times is castor oil.
Yeah.
Castor oil is great. My hair does not like castor oil at all.
That's kind of hit or miss. I don't even like
all.
the smell of castor oil.
Oh, it was horrible. It was horrible. My mom, my hair had grown out a lot. And she decided she was going to massage my scalp for me. And so she went and got the castor oil. And I looked like I had black straw on the top of my head by the time she was done. Like it didn't move. There was no movement to it at all. And it just sat on my hair. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it at all. It didn't feel light. It felt really very heavy. It felt like it was dirty and I had just washed it. So no, I can't use a product like that. I have to use something light. That's the only thing that my hair really likes.
So what would be the lightest, airiest?
Well, for me, I'm not allergic to almonds. I'm not allergic to nuts. I find that products with almond oil in it instead of coconut oil work better for me. But the thing you have to be careful of is someone has a nut allergy, they can't use the oil because if it absorbs into their systems, they could have a reaction. So again, it's trial and error. One of the things that I do with my product is I get to know my client. And so like even on my website, I will ask, are you allergic to nuts? And so I know what things to substitute. Even if you like it, like if you love the body butter and it's great, but you can't use the almond oil, then I know what else to put in it,
And that's really great. And that's something that is so important because you actually give individualized attention.
I do.
You get a customer kind of one-on-one
Yes.
with them.
Yes.
So you don't want the almond, you can get this instead. And you know
Right.
exactly if I'm still looking for, if my goal is to have moisture, then you know exactly what to substitute that way.
Exactly. Same thing if you went and bought perfume. The same perfume will not smell the same on everybody. Your chemistry has something to do with that. It's the same idea with these things. I don't scent them with fragrance oils. I scent everything with essential oils. Fragrance oils have a chemical in them to give them that scent. My goal is to keep chemicals completely out of it.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Nicole, let's take a quick break.
Okay.
We'll be right back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. We'll be right back. Stay with us. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel, sitting down with Nicole Favours. So, Nicole, let's continue our conversation. It's been great so far.
Yes.
Definitely getting a lot of information about natural glory and all the great things. What would you say is your mission?
My mission is for every woman to treat themselves, not just women. Let me rephrase that. My mission is for everyone to treat themselves daily. That has become my tagline, but it has become more of a reminder for myself. Where we get busy and taking care of everyday life. So you have your job, you have your family, you have your extracurricular activities, and at some point we stop taking care of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And there's something that's serene almost to be able to pamper yourself if someone else can't pamper you. Not everybody can afford to go to a spa every month or every week or what have you. But with this, I can do it at home and still have that same feeling. And I want everybody to feel like that.
And that's great. And let's talk about the line itself. So,
Yes.
Natural Glory.
Yes.
Right now, you've got a couple of products on the table.
Yes, I do. So right now, I have a exfoliating face wash. This is the body butter. In this particular scent is a sandalwood vanilla. This is a Dead Sea salt scrub that's also sandalwood vanilla. I have an exfoliating lip balm that will take the dead skin, especially this time of year and our lips get chapped. So I have a scrub for that, and I also have the moisturizing lip balm, and this one is peppermint green tea.
Wow.
This is for the guys. It is a beard spray, so it will soften their beards and make it smell nice. But I guess it's kind of for the ladies too, to
Of
when
course.
they.
Of course. You want something that's going to smell good. If you know.
Of course, of course. If I have to be close, I want you to smell good.
Of course. And you don't want it to be too brittle.
Exactly. No one wants that. No one wants something scruffy rubbing against them.
Beards are in style, so you want to have
Yes.
them nice and moisturized
Right.
and soft. And,
Right.
There's a method to the madness.
It is. I did a conference not too long ago, and it was a men's conference. And one of the things I said to them is, I'm going to tell you what your woman wants when you get home. And that's what you buy. And they got it. Like, it's one thing for a guy to say, okay, yes, I want this. But a woman's opinion of what she wants you to have one is very different.
Absolutely. And I think it's equally as important.
Yes, it is. It is.
Not that we're taking away from individuality.
No, not
but
at all. Not at
a
all.
little input is always.
It helps. It
this
does
is your
help.
core line to have a
This
facial.
is the core. Yes.
Okay.
And the body butter, I'm sorry, like I said, is for hair and body as well. I use it on both, and everything stays moisturized.
I actually had the pleasure of getting a little bit of it on me before we got started, and I have to say it is so moist. And I use
thank you.
barely a dime size.
Yes, a little goes a very long way.
So how do you manage to get that kind of spreadable? The texture is really different. I mean, I go
Right.
to the beauty supply. We all know New York is a beauty supply
Yes.
town.
Well, there are two different types that I do. One is a solid, and the other one is a whipped. The one that you tried is a whipped. And I just continue, I do everything right at home in my kitchen. It's not in a factory or anything like that, but as the orders come in, that's what I make. And depending on what my client wants, some people prefer the solid where they can actually scrape off what it is that they need. Both of them do not melt. Unless it's extreme heat, then they'll melt. But even if they melt, they solidify again. It's not a big deal if you just put it in someplace that's kind of cool, and it'll harden back up a little bit.
Now, because these are natural products,
Yes.
is there a different expiry date?
Well, I don't add preservatives to my products. And one of the things that I had to learn about was when things will start to go rancid. Everything goes bad at some point. The product that's in it that may last the shortest amount of time is the cocoa butter. And cocoa butter doesn't go rancid for 2 years.
Oh, that's a good thing to know.
So I'm thinking you can use a 4-ounce jar within 2 years and not worry about. That's why I like to make it when people order it. I don't want it to sit on a shelf, and because you never know when, how long it's been sitting there or when it was actually made. And a lot of times they have to add a chemical to it as a preservative to stop it from turning if it hasn't been sold. But I know that when someone places an order, it's fresh. And you have 2 years from that date
Exactly.
to use it. Yeah.
Have you had any horror experiences with it where you smelled the bath that was just like,
I
listen.
did. I before I realized about learning the dates when they start to go bad, I had a container of cocoa butter that was sitting on my shelf for a very long time. And I figured, I'm just going to make myself a batch of, It did not smell right at all. And the consistency was off. It was like grainy. And it was weird. It didn't smell bad, but it didn't smell right.
Correct.
And you don't just put a scent in it to cover that. That just means it's no good. and you have to start over with something that's fresh, you know.
So kind of walk us through getting